Warning of spoilers. If you have not watched this episode yet, pause the video, go watch it, and then come back after. Hey guys, Kiwi here, warning spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul up to Season 6, Episode 3. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing the fate of my favorite Better Call Saul character, Nacho Varga. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates, and if you really enjoy what I do here, maybe even consider checking out my Patreon. With that being said, let's jump right into the breakdown. So in this video, we'll mainly be discussing the final scene of Episode 603. Look forward to future videos for a full breakdown of the intro sequence to 603, along with a full 603 review later this week where I discuss the entire episode as a whole. But for right now, let's break down possibly the craziest moment in Better Call Saul history. So, jumping right into it, Nacho told Gus earlier in the episode that the only way things will go well for Gus is if Nacho dies. Nacho agrees that he'll die, along with covering up lies right beforehand, but he needs assurances that his papa won't be harmed. I'll discuss this more in my full 603 review, but Mike gives confirmation that no one will hurt Papa. Nacho wanted to hear it from Mike because he trusts Mike, but doesn't trust Gus. Moving on, we saw Mike being dropped off by the white van from the Season 6 trailers, but this is not how I thought things would go down. On the surface level, Mike wanted to be there for assurance, but he also wanted to be there to see Nacho's final moments. We'll get more into Mike's true motives in a moment when shit hits the fan. Mike sets up his sniper on the same rock that he did back in the Season 2 finale. Now back in the Season 2 finale, Mike was planning on taking out Hector with his sniper, but couldn't due to Nacho standing in the way. Then he got called back to his vehicle due to Gus shoving a stick against his horn, along with placing a note on his car saying "Don't." But back to the episode. Gus brings Nacho to the Salamanca shack that we saw from Season 2, and waiting there are Bolsa, Hector, and the Salamanca twins. Nacho gets down on his knees, and Bolsa starts telling him that he's going to die, but that he can die a good death or a bad one. If Nacho tells them the info that they want to know, Bolsa will give him a good death. Otherwise, he'll torture Nacho to death and make it as drawn out and horrible as possible. As Bolsa says this, we get a camera view of Nacho squeezing the glass shard that he's hidden, causing his hands to bleed. Bolsa gives Nacho 2 chances to speak the truth, but in order for Nacho to make his story realistic, he holds out on telling his fake story until after Bolsa gives him that second chance. Hector and Gus look at each other due to Hector knowing the truth, but Nacho still covers for Gus. He blames everything on himself and a rival gang. Here Nacho gives one of the best final speeches in the Breaking Bad universe, and let's break down why. First, Nacho stares at Gus knowing that Gus is the one to put him in this situation, but Nacho stays true to his word and tells the cover story instead of outing Gus. Nacho says that a rival gang put him up to it and that he's been on their payroll for years. Hector starts ringing his bell to call BS on this cover story as Hector knows that it was Gus who tried to kill Lalo due to Lalo calling him and admitting it to him at the end of episode 601. Hector then points at Gus, accusing him. Hector keeps ringing his bell, wanting Nacho to admit the truth. Nacho laughs at them accusing Gus, calling Gus the chicken man to belittle Gus's capabilities, acting like Gus is a joke, that he wouldn't be capable of this. Nacho doubles down on the cover story, saying that the rival gang has been paying him for years. Nacho then talks shit about Lalo and the rest of the Salamancas. This is one of the only moments that Nacho truly reveals himself and his true feelings, instead of wearing the metaphorical mask that he's been forced to wear all of these seasons. Nacho admits to opening Lalo's gates, along with saying that he's glad Nacho's dead, calling him a soulless pig, wishing that he could have killed him with his own hands. This is where Nacho finally comes clean to Hector about swapping his pills back in Season 3, which is the first thing that Gus was blackmailing Nacho for in the first place. The way that Nacho tells Hector the truth is absolutely wild, and I was not expecting it. From this moment on, Gus technically doesn't have any previous dirt on Nacho anymore as he's come clean, but in order to still save Papa, Nacho keeps up his end of the bargain. I love the whole swapping pills story arc in Season 3, along with the Season 3 finale cliffhanger showing that Gus was onto Nacho. We've known for years now why Hector is in a wheelchair, but now he finally knows too. So a few people said to me on Twitter that Nacho admitting the pill swap to Hector gave them a huge "I watched Jane die vibes, and I completely agree. To further defend Gus from being a suspect, Nacho acts like he despises Gus for saving Hector's life, which, is probably true. Nacho says that he tried to kill Hector by swapping his heart pills, and that Hector was as good as dead until Gus sprung into action to save Hector's life. This not only stops Gus from seeming like a suspect, but also seeming like a hero for saving Hector instead of wanting to kill him. The way that Nacho paints himself as the true villain for belittling Hector for being in a wheelchair is so brutal, yet satisfying. He tells Hector to think of him from now on being stuck in that wheelchair. This is where Nacho reveals that he used a shard of glass to free himself, stabbing Bolsa in the leg and stealing his gun. Notice how everyone seems surprised here except Mike. Not only that, but looking down the sniper scope, Mike tells him to do it, as if they had this planned. Now I do want to mention that the shard of glass that Nacho has is from the glass that Gus broke in the previous episode, and Nacho was alone in Gus's trailer when he picked up this shard of glass, so I don't think that everything was planned between Mike and Nacho. Now this could have been planned between Nacho and Mike, but even if it wasn't, if Nacho would have started shooting everyone, I believe that Mike would have followed up with his sniper rifle, taking out not only the Salamancas, but Gus as well. Now watch Nacho's eye movements during his final moments. First, he looks at the Salamancas, and then he looks at Gus for putting him in this situation. But then, he looks straight forward, where Mike is, almost staring right through Mike's scope and into his eyes for not being able to save him. Also, if Mike and Nacho did have this planned, it was Nacho's way of telling Mike that the plans have changed, and the only person he'll be taking out is himself. Nacho kills himself, going out his own way. Gus didn't kill him, nor the Salamancas. Nacho wanted to go his own way, and he did. This is also a great callback to Nacho talking to Don Eladio in the season 5 finale, saying how he wanted to go his own way. Nacho not only kills himself because he had no way out, but also because the truth dies with him, leaving the lies that he told to cover for Gus as the only explanation. Nacho then pulls the trigger of a gun one final time, and as if that wasn't heartbreaking enough, as Gus begins to leave, Hector is carried to Nacho's body to unload an entire clip into him. The way that the gunshots bleed into the credits is absolutely devastating. Having audio bleed over into the credits is a big Breaking Bad trope that I love. It really adds to the moment and just lets you sulk in what you just saw. Recency bias aside, I think this might top Ozymandias. Nacho was my favorite Better Call Saul character, and this moment will go down as top 3 scenes for the show, or even in the Breaking Bad universe in general, at least in my opinion. We all knew that Nacho was going to die, but why did it have to happen now? Honestly, this felt like a penultimate episode, but it's only episode 3 of the season. One thing I will say is that I cannot wait to rewatch the first 3 episodes of season 6 again, now all in a row, due to it truly feeling like a full movie conclusion to Nacho's character. Now there's a lot more I have to say about Nacho in this entire episode, so look out for my next few videos where I'll be breaking down and discussing the intro sequence to episode 603, along with all the foreshadowing and symbolism that it holds. And then I'll be doing a full 603 review, talking about both the cartel side and Jimmy's side of the story, even though we barely saw Jimmy this episode, which makes sense. This was Nacho's episode. With all that being said, I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything that I've said today. If you're new to the channel or just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.